Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Ladies and gentlemen, Crown of Thoughts. I'm your host, Double A. A couple episodes ago, I did my vinyl record collection, the entire collection, in one episode, and I was real upset because something happened where it looked like I was fucking dubbed. My voice wasn't going with the picture. But anyway, I forgot one of the records because it was sitting over in the other side of the room. I got this at Skid Row Garage and his two band split. They're called splits. It's Enemy Insects and Radical Discharge. And as you can see, there's the back. Oh yeah. Though I forgot to show you guys that one. And I might actually redo the whole record collection thing. And I got some people I know with record collections that I'm gonna go to their houses and do some view their collection. One of those people was on here before, Lucas Adams, so you already know him because you've seen every fucking episode. And if you haven't, don't forget to subscribe, motherfuckers. Check 1 2. 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 Check. Ladies and gentlemen, again, Double A here with Crown of Thoughts. And sure really what to discuss with you guys today. Had an interesting time trying to sleep. I literally woke up at fucking 1 in the morning and I'm like, I hate sleeping on this bed. It's like the biggest fucking bed in the world. It takes up that whole little room up there. And it's like what are the king size? But it's like, motherfucker, I'm going down to the couch. So I went down to the couch, plopped up there, put some fucking old westerns on YouTube on the laptop because I don't like to have too much television. I got the big screen TV and shit, but when I used to have Netflix and stuff, it was just like I was consuming my life with a bunch of pointless, boring shit. So I did that. The cat came up and plopped down on me, and we and the cat were watching fucking movies. Next thing I know, Monster the Magnificent, hits me up. I'm talking to that motherfucker until 4 a.m. Monster from Reality Horror Records, and he lives in Australia. We're discussing like the cultural differences between the countries, all types of shit like that. I enjoy talking to people from other countries. The cultural differences, and then a lot of it just helps you see the bullshit that we're trying to talk about in this country, and we're using it as political. Yeah, we're pretending like we give a fuck about people for political reasons. But just talk to some people from other countries and see how shit is. Compare. Maybe they're wrong. Compare that shit. So I went on my hike today. Today it was like gothic, industrial, dark wave playlist type shit for today. And so that was really cool. And You know what, guys? Give me 1 second. This shit. So hard to do like this. I was not going to look at that shit all fucking day. All right, now let's begin. Round of thoughts, motherfuckers. Uh, Ba-ba-dum. So one thing I was thinking about recently is autonomy, how to be autonomous and what that does for you. Um, because a lot of times I like to bring people along for the ride, see if people want to hang out, see what they're doing, and then it's like you're neglecting your own life, man. In this fashion, you're neglecting your own life. And I was thinking about it on my hike, yesterday's hike, which was mostly, I played mostly beatdown hardcore, all out war, Madball, sick of it all, some heavier ones. Can't recall the entire playlist. Some Ace of Base in there. But a lot of times I'll want to go hang out with people all the time. More so in the past. It's like, I have off tomorrow. Who wants to chill? Blah, 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 blah. And after a while of that, like, it's easier. It's more doable if you're partying and drinking all the time. And as I sober up here on my journey, my little journey of self improvement and recovery and sobriety and all that shit. When I say sobriety, I mean alcohol and real drugs. I'm not talking about weed. You know, that's just a little tangent, but who cares? For me, it's sobriety. And it's like trying to hang out with people. At first this was the thing. Because drug people will chill with you on the fly sometimes. And it's like, I got nothing to do. Let me text like six of these motherfuckers. One's gonna fucking want to chill. Bam. Blah, 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 blah. One of them fucking replies. It's like, yeah, you want to get a 12 pack? Fuck it. I'm not doing nothing. I'm watching AMC Classics films on this gigantic fucking TV. I'm like, all right, I'll head down there. You know, making that bubble hash. Old school. Filtering it through that ice water. And you know, so I could chill. I would hang out with people all the time, and there's nothing wrong with that. A lot of you guys I do want to hang out with sometime here. But the issue is not temptation, which I'm not. That's not where I'm going with this. Like I can sit in a room and watch people drink, and I don't want to drink really. It's just what I'm gonna get bored, man, sitting around watching people drink. You know, they're not going to be on the level. You know, maybe I'm talking about some, you know, some different types of shit, and they're goofing off and having a good time that way. And I want to talk about something that, you know, more a little deeper or whatever. And I'm not trying to suggest that partiers are not deep intellectual thinkers. It's just when they're together partying, they're fucking goofing off. And that's like a lot of the difference with my recovery stories is that I actually am not, don't give a fuck if other people get hammered all the time. I'm not going to be like, bro, you got to come to this AA meeting with me. I don't do that shit. It's just my personal thing. And a lot of my friends, you're watching this right now, probably drinking. And it's like, that's you. You know, I'm not going to say that's fucking healthy, but you know, you guys all know what you're doing. And so it's become a thing like that where it's like I have to learned to stay home more. And when I'm home, it's like it's starting to get now I was thinking it's starting to get really weird and difficult for me. But the opposite, I'm starting to think is the case. And it's confusing to me because I'm sitting here and I'm like, oh, I don't know what to do, man. I don't even want to do this. I don't even want to do this over here. And if I do that, I'm just going to be right back here with this. And it's like, okay, I don't have alcohol, so I'm not drinking. And I don't. So honestly, when I don't drink or do other like real drugs, I honestly don't even smoke as much weed, really. It's like weed on its own, like a standalone, isn't that exciting to me? And and then I'm just like, so I pack a bowl. I should go roll myself a cigarette, blah blah blah. And I'm getting so sick and tired. The cigarettes are making me fucking sick. I think I'm about on my way to letting them go because now, whenever I light one up, I take 2 or 3 drags and put it right out. So what's that saying? That's saying that I'm get kind of get had my fill of those things, and the reason is that I'm starting to experience the first little wave of contentment. Mm. Yes, guys, but I don't know what this feeling is. I'm not accustomed to it. And I'm like, there's no thing to do that I don't even want to do this thing and that thing. Might as well just stay here on the couch and keep watching this movie. And it's like, well, then there's no thing. There's what huh? And it's like, yeah, I'm sitting still. That's what I'm doing. I'm sitting still, man. That's called contentment, and I've just never experienced it. I don't want anything. I don't want anything, man. And it's like, that's very, very weird to me. It's difficult to understand. And it's like, I think I need to embrace this. And it's hard. Like, I did eventually go take a walk outside and smoke a cigarette. I took a walk around the block and shit. But it's like, it's starting to be so when I'm in these states where I don't need or want anything, and I'm like, well, I'm just sitting still, man. This is very strange for me to not be like fiending for some kind of fucking thing, even if it's not a drug, even if it's just like a thing you do that's, you know what I mean, whatever. And it's like this is down now, this is that time. So I'm sitting still and I don't particularly need to do anything crazy or unhealthy or whatever, or waste time in a particular way. And it's like, so this, I can sit still, try to be content. But what I'm starting to notice is during this time, this is actually, I can look around the room and be like, let's put a load of laundry in. Now, like just now, I made a Caesar salad and some fucking fish. I think it was salmon. Every time I make fish, I never remember what the fuck kind it is. I think it was salmon. Let's just go with that for sake of conversation. And I'm like, oh, I'm doing real people shit. Holy fuck. How did that happen? How did I get here? Real people shit? It just fucking happened so fast. I think I need help, man. You know, next I'm going to be like redoing the steps on my porch or washing my car or whatever. I always see these people doing this shit and I'm like, that's what they're spending their time on? Why? Why are you fucking washing your car? The fucking car, you're not eating off it. I see this type of shit and I'm like, these people must have absolutely nothing to do that they're wasting their fucking time like that. This is the old me. I'm like, I cannot believe they're out there washing their car. Like, do they? What kind of little world do they live in where they actually care what their fucking car looks like? You know, like that's a small world, man. They could be out fucking crushing a case of beer. And that's the thought process that I always had with those types of things that I'd see people doing. I'm like, why do they care? And so that's what I'm starting to think. Like, if I don't need shit and if I can be content sitting still, then this other shit might be like, I might actually have the time for it and it might not feel like that big of a deal. I'm not washing my fucking car though. With stuff like that, you know? And that's when people find the time to do these types of things. And that's when they get the desire to do these types of things and that kind of stuff. Hey Kanga, you want an appearance? Say something into the mic. Kanga's gonna talk whenever she feels ready. And so that's when people do these types of things. You know, and who knows, like this is like a level for me. It's like a next level, like I'm in a video game. And to recap on my recovery, so the beginning was basically withdrawal. Could not stabilize myself, months and months of severe depression, suicidal ideation, they call it as well, and just feelings of despair. All right. And that went on for a while. I did an episode about it and stuff like that. You already saw. So that was the beginning stage. And this right here is the learning to sit still with yourself stage. And I would not have been able to reach this stage if not for having like 50 mental breakdowns. Because I'm not going to tell you sobering up's easy. I had a lot of fucking total psychotic mental breakdowns. Out, like almost like out of my fucking control. It was nuts. And to sit alone in a room with my thoughts is never going to happen. I'm like, fuck that. I don't care what. I'll go back to fucking drugs before I do that shit. Fuck that. But now I'm doing it. And it's because I had all these fucking, I poured out my emotions and broke down and fucking went completely psychotic. And I have a therapist. And so she would guide me like, I'd be like, what the fuck am I feeling this for? I can make it stop. And she's like, yeah, unless you kind of get through that, you're not going anywhere. This would be it for you unless you try to, you know, and then, so at first she was trying to stabilize me. And then after a while, and now I'm getting to the point where we're going back in time. Back in time to what, you know, the middle years, now back to the childhood, all that shit you think about when you hear about therapy. At first, it was just like, look around the room, get out of your head, calm down, breathe, blah, 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 you know, all that shit. And so now we're going backwards to my childhood, and I don't like this part. It fucking sucks. But I'm starting to understand how shit compiles. I'm starting to understand how shit happens when you're young. You learn things, different things, and you just keep running with them without understanding. And so when you get older, you're like, I've been doing this weird fucked up thing my entire life, and that's what's going on. Because I learned to do that when I was 10. It just worked for me. But I never progressed, and it's like I never got out of that state. And it's like, I'm not giving you fucking my personal details. I know I talk a lot about personal shit on this shit. And maybe who knows what the fuck I'm going to do next, but who cares? But when you're little, you come up with ideas in your head, and those become truth and solid, concrete ideas, but they're really really not. Like you can change those around, and that's pretty much what you're gonna have to do if you got a certain outlook on life, and you cannot understand how other people, like most of the people in this population, agree on this. I don't. I don't understand that shit at all. Maybe you have a certain view you've developed that's not super helpful. It actually is hurting you. Or, maybe you are right. Because there's a lot of things like a lot of people do that are fucking stupid. You guys get what the point I'm trying to make. So that's where I'm at with that. And so talking about being autonomous and not so much going to hang out with other people all the time, but having your own thing that you're doing, your thing. And other people can tag along if they're into it to your thing. They can come along with you, but you got your thing. And that's the goal. That's what you should shoot for. If other people are interested in what you're doing, those people are going to attract to you. And so what's going to happen is you're going to start to have friendships with some kind of thing holding them together, some kind of base that you're all in it together for this reason. Like if I'm doing reality horror records and I got other people that are into that type of shit, and we group together and we have this one goal in mind and we're fucking rolling with that. And then later in life, we'll say that I can that shit and move on. Like I learned from doing the reality horror records, that's talent, the skill I learned. I'm going to apply it to this thing that I have a better opportunity with. I'm not saying that's the case. I'm saying that's kind of how life works. Like this podcast, we'll use this podcast, Crown of Thoughts. Maybe I do this for a long time and I end up canning it and being done with it not because I'm quitting, but because I found through this, I learned skills. Like I'm learning the podcast, the ways to do it. I try to keep the technology to a minimum because I think it's about what I'm saying. I'm saying words, you're hearing the words. Now I've looked at some other video editing programs. I was looking at it to see how to make some cheap ass music videos. Because me and Cinekill made a video with a $0 budget. We made a music video with a fucking $0 budget. And it was okay. So that's the type of thing I was looking into. But then I'm like, this is actually more applicable to the Crown of Thoughts. And so I'm looking at some new programs and I'm probably going to have some new capabilities. You might see little shit popping up on the screen like a lot of them do, stuff like that. I'm not sure. But as far as I've gone now, I like to keep it to a bare minimum technologically wise. Minimalistic. I like to keep it minimalistic for now. And so maybe I learned some skills from doing this. And I go do some other shit. Maybe someone else has a fucking podcast that's more to it, more involved, more technology involved, and they just need some dude to fucking edit it or something. Or maybe there's like they want to have like a 3-panel or like 2 dudes that do a talk show, and they're like, "Yo, I want you to come with me and do this shit." Like kind of like what we do with the raps. We throw them all around. Like I network with people off of Facebook and shit, and it's like, "Hey, you're pretty cool, man. Do you rap?" 'Cause most of I just friend request shit tons of rappers. Just fuck it because, and then so most of them I assume rap at this point. Like this happened with this fucker uncut Yola. I'll be doing a song with him soon. And MDV just did a song with him. Swords Drawn, pretty kick ass song. And so He wanted me. He also does like metal hardcore music. And the one was like a grindcore slam band, and he wanted me to lace it with some vocals, and my voice was totally shot when I went to the studio, and I could not do it. I could do it today, though, I swear, but it's just too late, and I can't. Anyway, so that's maybe that would happen with the podcast. I'd link it with other people and figure other shit out. Like right now, I barely have any subscribers. I don't get a shit ton of views, but I'm having fun doing it and learning. And maybe through that, I progress into some other shit. And I think that's how life's going to go from here. You know, I went through the drug withdrawal. When I was like 20, I got bad and I sobered up for a while. And then I kind of dabbled in psychedelics and shit like that. And then the alcohol came. I'd say early 30s. I'm 39. I'd say about 33 is when the alcohol started to get bad. And then with the alcohol came the cocaine and shit because I had to stay awake to drink more. And then everything went to shit. So it's not like my whole life was that way. It was like when I was 19, 20. And then when I was like 33 to 38, some shit like that. That's when it was really bad. And so I got through the withdrawal. I got through all that type of shit. Right now, I'm learning to sit with myself and do normal shit that I would think is fucking boring, like clean up and cook my own food, like I just did. And what I'm finding is, yeah, maybe it's not about boring and fun. That's what I always saw things in terms of. It's actually about contentment. You know, contentment and autonomy, and that's what I'm shooting for now. Those are my two attributes or characteristics that I'm trying to go with now. And those are the two things I'm starting to value. That's what I'm trying to say. That's how I'm trying to put it. And so where do I go from here, man? I also got Can't Sleep Productions. I'm trying to do industrial music, minimalistics as well. And I have done some shit, but I want to get this program that Jesse the Boot uses, Ableton, and fuck with that. And I think I can make straight up industrial music, original tracks, you know. And what right now I got Toronto Beatmaker, and I can make shit like that, like in instrumental style shit. But I'd be taping like fucking loops back and back to each other. It's a little bit. Ableton's a beast. It's a lot fucking better program. But I don't know. This is like a stage of recovery, I guess. I'm starting to feel a lot better, and I have episodes. I mean, where I just start I just sink, and I feel like really bad, and that's still happening. And so I'm getting used to my personality. Like, am I actually manic depressive, or am I just my brain chemicals are not stable at the moment? I don't really know. We'll figure it out as we go, guys. Well, what I do know is that this was a really good episode of Crown of Thoughts. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Double A, your host. And soon, so stay tuned for some more shit soon. Tonight's actually open night at the place near my house. I should fucking go in there and do a rap set. Could actually just have that, tape it, and put it up on here as an episode. Brian, guitarist of Wicked Seed, told me that today. He's like, you should go down there. And I'm like, you should come up here and do a fucking podcast with me. Then I'll go down there. Well, let's strike a deal. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you got something out of this. Maybe if you are trying to sober up and shit and you're like, it's just going to be pure hell the rest of my life, it's not. It will be that way for a while, and it will hurt, and it will be bad, but it will get better. Crown of Thoughts, I'm Double A. You guys have a wonderful evening.